Sorry, LAMA. Yeah. So LAMA model is used not only by us, because if you see this is account group, this is used by deal also. So if you see, there will be account group member record that is related to deal workspace account group, and then a deal workspace is the object that will be looking to account group. Similarly, agreement is looking, right.
So here the transaction object is agreement, and
where in that case it will be deal, and so similarly it will form the deal group similarly. And so whatever different type of, I'm not sure what is the child, I think whatever account want to related to this deal, they will create a account group specific to that deal, and then all the accounts related will go to this account group records. Similarly, an agreement account group member record.
Does deal comes as part of CLM?
No, it doesn't come. No, it doesn't come. I'm just mentioning because you might need to be aware, because if some new field addition has to be there, you need to make sure, like, we have created different record type on account group and account group member that is specific to agreement, and there is some record type that associate that resides for deal.
So what is the record type for our CLM?
I think for CLM it's agreement linkage. Maybe you can go to the agreement this object definition and check that.
Yeah, only one record type, right?
Yeah, for now we are only using and then they will also have. So basically we cannot query every account group and account group member in system, because few of them will be owned by them also. Right. So similarly we have the deal service also, but that is different to this. I mean that we are calling. That they are calling us just to validate at the time of code conversion and other activities. So I think there is a service document on the quip.
Hey, Sijir, I see a lot of documents. I mean, we are not shared with those documents.
I think.
Even the architecture diagram, right, which you showed in the previous call, I don't have that document.
I think I have created some team folder. So just check on the Lucid if you have access to this team folder.
On Lucid? Yeah, let me check.
On the Lucid.
Let me check.
I think I have shared with few of the people recently, but yeah. And in the Quip also, if you see, right, so there is this CLM apps. In CLM apps, I think you will find many documents. I think there is a services document, and I think few are in draft state, but you can just check for few services we have exposed to quoting and deal, and you can go through the service lower level details for those.
So we have exposed those services because we are the owner of these objects, account group and...
we are the owner of agreement object, basically.
Agreement object, okay.
You can see the service request and response and other details in this. So usually there is not much in, but in future they might come up with some things in there. Okay, so for few of the scenarios, we are following the service-oriented architecture, especially when we are exposing the service to some upstream system specifically, so that.
So I understand this. That we are exposing services, but do we really need to have this DAO layer?
That's what we usually do for the SOAs, right? Because otherwise, these are the interface implementation, and if we don't maintain the DAO layer, where will be query that?
Okay.
We cannot directly query it in the interface implementation.
In the service layer, we cannot query?
We can query, but it's usually not recommended to query in the service layer. Okay. Because if you assume like a few of the services are common, right? Few of them said, okay, give me all the valid MSA for this. So few of the query will be very similar, but your filtering criteria at the service layer might be different. But your query eventually will be same, but we will be duplicating the query at the service layer, right? If we don't put it into that.
Yeah, right. Sishir, can you share me that folder? I don't see that folder.
Okay, sure. I will share that.
Well, I've already shared that folder with you. I think I sent the link to you.
Is it Lucid folder?
Oh no, not the lucid. Sorry, I think other one.
Yeah.
Shishir, where do we have this, Shishir? Don't we have it here in the documentation piece? Or let's update that if we don't have that there.
Yeah, I have pinged the folder link. You can put in the document. Okay. So basically, I had these to discuss. So data model perspective, I will quickly finish if we don't have anything else to discuss. So
function overview and tool overview also topics. So function is not there. Tool and technical overview. Tool and technical overview.
Tool overview. Which tool?
CLM tool and technical overview. That is the topic as mentioned.
Yeah. This is technical overview only. I mean data model and the architecture. Specifically tool overview, if you want, we need to have some specific session for XAuthor and then the templates, right? Merge templates and XAuthor and then DocuSign.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, right.
Okay, so in this scenario, basically we are mainly using, I think we have already discussed these. So these are the standard parent object for the contact and opportunity that we are using. And apart from that, account group and account group member, we have already discussed it. This is very detailed. You will find some the owners and the volume. I think this is 1 year old, but a volume, but high level idea of how many records are there in production related to it. And certification requirement is LRO object. I think this is mainly we are using in reseller and UPRA, but UPRA full relationship I am not totally aware. I think Lata is working on that and she's aware about that for the UPRA different relationship that we have recently created. So we have DSR and case that we are. So on the reseller agreement, we as we discussed earlier, so different type of agreement does different functionalities. So reseller agreement after before signature, it does create DDQ and deal support request is there, and that is deal support request object, and then cases. So it does create different type of cases, and that is then sent to business.
Shishir, actually, it's bit going bouncer. Maybe if we go functional wise, right, and then come back to data model, and that will be much easier to understand.
Yeah. So function walkthrough have not happened for different business flows.
I think today was the first one. Yeah, this LAMA one.
Okay. So once functional walkthrough are done, right, it will be a little bit more because my understanding was like functional will have already been done. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly run through this, Gopal. I got one quick scenario where I could show the LAMA one. I know we're out of time, but I just want to really do this real quick, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So, some data we created, okay? Quickly we created some data. And this is test one account, okay? And this already has an agreement. Test one is already an agreement associated with that, right? And which is in effect status. And if you go back here, there's another account, test 2, okay? Let me just click you here. It's just one. This also has an agreement, which is associated with that. And this both accounts are the same DUNS number. They're connected with the DUNS number. And if I go back here, if you look at this, since test 2 also has an agreement and test 1 also has an agreement, and both of them have the same DUNS number, you see, this section, right? You see this agreement in the accounts family agreement section. That is how it gets displayed.
Okay.
Right? Did you understand the logic? What we see and.
Yes, right. So this test 2 also has an agreement, and it has the same DUNS number as the test 1, and then it has an active agreement.
Exactly. And whichever has DUNS, then it shows which means that, these are all the agreements available to you, which you can,
they can be linked. Yeah.
Correct. Right now we cannot link. Because
there's an active MSA here already.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what we normally do is we go here and this is the way we do the linkage. This is generate linkage request.
So if let's say for test 2, if we create an NDA agreement, and that will show up here, right?
Correct. Everything will show up. MSA
and we can link that one, right? Yeah.
Correct. So right now you see this. We cannot link because it already has an active MSA, and we cannot link that.
So Deepika, I mean, in your the equip doc which you shared, right? There you have mentioned that some cases are also created, right? So is that a valid thing?
No. Cases is different. I was talking about the perspective, right? Like I didn't talk about this one.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. Thanks, Kiran. So I was talking more process perspective. So what happens? Let's say the AE starts linking, and the moment you click the generate linkage, right? Sorry. You go here and generate linkage, right? And they put a request, and what they do is they mention agreements in the chat, on the account chat itself. That creates a case. So this is the way they request. When you say generate linkage request, what happens is the association happens. Immediately, it does not happen.
So this will create an account group member, and its status would be
maybe
request. Yeah, I guess.
Requested. Let me just see if I can go to some older ones, but let me see if I can go to account.
So at least in this flow, there is no case association, right?
Correct.
With respect to LAMA. Okay.
Correct. Cases is totally different. Cases is that is I've talked more in terms of in prospects of business perspective, right? So that's how the business gets notified. So they submit a linkage request, and then they mention agreements on the account that creates a case. That's how the legal team gets notified. They know that hey, somebody's looking into this. Somebody wants our attention.
Okay.
So that is what I was talking about. The cases are all about that.
Yeah, just a thought, Deepika. I mean, we could have done that automation as part of this only, right? The linkage, when we do that linkage, or am I not making sense? So when we are creating a linkage, right, it creates an account member, right? And in that process itself, if we create a case,
right? That's where when they mention agreements, right? That's when the case gets created.
Okay, so maybe if I see that flow, it will be clear.
Yeah, that's what exactly. So. But normally, they mention agreements, and so they know that something is happening on this particular account. So they come back to the accounts, and you can just see. I think it's account group member. I think. Let me see. Yes. It's the recent ones. Okay, let's pick something. Let's see if something status is like in request or something. Okay. Anyway, let's pick up something and let's modify the status. So normally when you submit that, right, the status will be something like this: submitted for request or something. I think it's submitted for approval. Right. So and then the team comes back. Let's see if this account is active. Oh, I don't know if this is account. Okay. Transact. But I should have made some data to make this easier than here. Okay. We can submit here also because it already has an effect agreement, right? So, okay. No worries. Anyways, I'll just walk you through. Don't worry. We'll just walk you through from here. So normally what the process is, it'll be submitted for approval, right? So legal team comes here and they go back here and they check like, okay, which agreement are they trying to associate? They check from here. They go to the related agreements and check which account is that. And once you think they have all the relevant clauses and everything, they just go back here and they say, approved, and they just save it.
Okay, so that is the approval mechanism we have.
Correct.
Okay.
So then when you see when that happens, right, we come back here and we see the account getting associated in the accounts agreement section. We see the agreement sitting here in this section. Since the association has happened.
Yeah, right.
So that's functionally, so that is how they do it. I mean, that is basically the process behind it. He comes here and he goes here and he makes sure that this particular entity account does not have any relevant agreements. He comes back here and he does a check and he submits a generate linkage request. And then here, it mentions agreements, it mentions agreements that creates a case, automated case. When it mentioned on the chatter itself, it gets a case created. And that's how legal team gets notified that, some activity is happening here. And they come back,
Yeah, and that is not our scope, right?
Case creation?
Yeah, case creation and all.
I think it's implemented long back that they've been following that Yox or somebody has implemented. I don't remember who implemented that, but it's not part of the LAMA functionality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So looking at the case, they come back into the account group, account group member, and they go there and they review everything and they think if it's right, then they change the process. They change it to approved. That is the process.
Yeah, got it.
And everything for some reason, they think it's, they reject it or sometimes what happens is Shishir, I can't remember exactly when it becomes active.
Shishir left actually.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe I have to refresh my memory on this, Gopal, because I remember when this automatically turns out to be active and when it gets failed. There's certain 2 or 3 scenarios where it automatically fails. So I'll have to refresh that.
Okay, so there are some validations you mean to say, right? Yeah, right.
Absolutely. So when we request something or I'll have to refresh that. I'll have to refresh my memory. But like 80% is the process. This is how it works.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And back in logic, I did a lot of the logic behind it, like how linking and maybe Shishir can help you with the logic.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we'll have to dig in the code.
Correct. So this is one scenario. What else I can think of? Sometimes what happens is there's an MSC, but the subtype will be like it's called as click through.
Yeah.
Let me just take you to this agreement probably.
Maybe he went.
I think we have one call, Deepika.
Okay, sure.
We have to drop off.
Alrighty, so I'll talk to you again, but let me know if you need any more information on this. Okay, we can dig deeper a little bit more.
Yeah, sure, Deepika. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Bye, Shish.